The 2025 job market. It's a landscape that's shifting constantly, it feels like, and understanding its contours is really key to not just surviving, but actually thriving. For this deep dive, we've really unpacked a substantial stack of sources. We're talking everything from, in-depth Coursera and Forbes reports, all the way to candid experiences shared on Reddit threads, and even strategic advice from seasoned recruitment experts. Our mission today, to cut through all that noise, we want to reveal the essential knowledge you need to grasp what's truly happening out there and, importantly, how to position yourself for success.
And that's precisely what we aim to do for you. Think of this exploration as your essential guide. We'll spotlight not only the significant challenges 2025 presents, but also the surprising opportunities that are waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, knowledge is most valuable when it's not just acquired.
Right.
It needs to be deeply understood and then effectively applied to your own unique career path.
Absolutely. Let's make this highly actionable. Okay, let's unpack the current reality then. If your job search feels like it's dragging on, like an endless marathon, well, you're certainly not alone. Our sources confirm this. They reveal that job searches are now taking, on average, about 6 months.
6 months? That's quite a while.
It is. And a considerable number, 40% of unemployed workers, are spending over 15 weeks just trying to land something. It really can be a grueling process.
What's truly striking here, though, is the contrast in perception you find. The U.S. unemployment rate, it remains relatively low, hovering around 4.1%. Yet, you talk to job seekers, and they consistently describe the market using words like brutal, impossible, even soul-crushing.
Yeah.
So why this stark disconnect, between the official statistics and the actual lived experience on the ground? What are our sources pointing to there?
That's a great question. And yeah, our sources offer some pretty clear explanations. One major factor they highlight is this thing called the low hire, low fire phenomenon.
Okay, low hire, low fire. What does that mean exactly?
Essentially, companies are prioritizing holding on to their existing staff rather than, say, aggressively expanding their teams.
So caution is the word. Less hiring overall.
Exactly. It leads to a sluggish market where fewer new positions are actually opening up. But here's something even more startling, I think, from our research. The prevalence of ghost job ads.
Ghost jobs. You mean listings for jobs that aren't real?
Precisely. An astonishing 81% of recruiters actually admit to posting these sometimes. And get this, 3 out of 10 companies currently have fake listings active.
Wow.
Oh,
That's a
funny.
huge number. Why would they do that? Keep applicants warm? Gauge the market.
Could be various reasons: keeping pipelines full, maintaining an appearance of growth, maybe even collecting resumes. But the core takeaway for you, the listener, is that you might be spending valuable time and energy on positions that simply don't exist.
Which makes adjusting your strategy absolutely crucial.
Right.
And this really highlights the need for critical thinking about what you encounter online. Beyond those frustrating ghost listings, the impact of AI is just profound. Jobs impacted by AI could be as high as 60% in advanced economies. That's a huge number.
60%.
And half of those potentially face negative effects, things like wage decreases or even outright job loss.
Okay, that sounds pretty concerning.
It does. However, it's not a uniformly bleak picture. We also see that 1/3 of all U.S. jobs created in the last, say, quarter century, well, they didn't even exist before.
Right, so new roles are emerging too.
Exactly. So AI is truly a double-edged sword. It's eliminating some roles while simultaneously creating entirely new ones we haven't even thought of yet.
So, what does this all mean for you as you look ahead, planning for 2025? While some sources do predict a gradual recovery, maybe a market thaw into 2025, with employers anticipating continued hiring, the underlying trends, technological disruption, a fiercely competitive landscape, those are undeniable.
And we're not just making educated guesses here, are we? There's actual data backing this up.
Absolutely. We're seeing tangible evidence. Job additions in May and June 2025, for example, were significantly lower than what was initially reported. It just shows the market is more volatile, maybe more uncertain than it might initially appear.
And zooming out a bit, this competitive and dynamic landscape truly underscores a fundamental shift, I think, in how we need to approach learning and professional development. The job market is demanding a completely new pace from everyone. Skills are now changing. Get this, 66% faster in AI-exposed occupations.
66% faster. Compared to what?
Compared to last year's already rapid 25% rate of change.
Wow, that's accelerating incredibly quickly.
It really is. And it means continuous skill development isn't just, a nice-to-have bonus anymore. It's absolutely essential for staying relevant and competitive.
That's a powerful point. And when we look at the most in-demand skills, they really seem to fall into two important categories based on our sources. First, there are the technical skills. Generative AI, or Gen AI, is seeing just phenomenal growth.
Right. The numbers there are staggering.
They really are. An astounding 866% year-over-year enrollment increase on Coursera alone for Gen AI skills.
866%.
Yeah. We're talking about competencies like prompt engineering, machine learning fundamentals, data extraction, analytics, data visualization.
The whole data ecosystem, essentially.
Exactly. And alongside that, cybersecurity skills are also surging dramatically.
Which makes sense given the security landscape.
Totally. It's driven by a 75% increase in cyber attacks in just Q3 of 2024, coupled with this huge, nearly 5 million person global shortage of cyber professionals. The demand is simply through the roof.
What's particularly compelling here, and something job seekers should really note, is the tangible wage premium associated with these emerging technical skills. Workers who are proficient in AI are, on average, earning 56% more.
56% more. That's significant.
It is, and this isn't confined to just one niche, like tech. Our sources indicate this trend holds true across every single industry they analyzed. So this isn't just about understanding what AI can do in theory. It's fundamentally about what you can do with AI to create tangible value in practice.
That makes perfect sense for those directly working with AI, developing it or implementing it. But what about the rest of us? Is it all about technical mastery? Or are there other, maybe equally powerful skills emerging from these trends? Because what truly caught my eye in these reports is that human-centric skills, what we often call soft skills.
Yes, the soft skills, which are often the hardest to master.
Right. They're actually more critical than ever. Employers are actively seeking things like leadership, creative thinking, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, relationship building, ethical decision making.
Skills AI can't replicate.
Exactly. These are the unique qualities that AI simply can't replicate, making them your truly irreplaceable assets in this new landscape.
Absolutely. Creative thinking, for example. That's what truly drives innovation within organizations, right? It helps them adapt to constant change and maintain that competitive edge. And leadership skills, whether you're formally managing an entire team or simply influencing others effectively in your projects, those are directly additive to your career growth.
It's about influence, not just title.
Precisely. These are the human-first abilities that beautifully complement technical expertise. As AI increasingly takes over analytical and repetitive tasks, it frees us up, hopefully, to focus on higher-order, distinctly human contributions.
So the message seems pretty clear then. You need to actively double down on these distinctly human capabilities. And companies seem to be getting it too. They're shifting towards skills-based hiring, with a whopping 85% planning to invest in upskilling their current workforce.
Which is a huge shift away from just looking at degrees or past job titles.
Definitely. It's not just about what degrees you have anymore. And another critical area where we're seeing growth, career coaching and development.
People learning how to learn.
Exactly. It underscores the immense value of truly learning how to learn and adapt in this fast-changing environment. Okay, so we understand the landscape. We know the kinds of skills you need, both technical and human. But how do you actually put that into practice? Let's turn our attention to mastering the job search itself. First off, forget the old spray and pray method, applying to hundreds of jobs online.
Yeah, clicking apply now 50 times a day.
Right. Our sources clearly state it just doesn't work effectively in today's market. You need to be much more specific and proactive in your approach.
This brings up a crucial point then. How do you truly stand out when the competition is so fierce and maybe half the listings are ghosts anyway? What are our sources revealing about the most effective strategies now?
Well, a key answer lies in understanding and tapping into what's often called the hidden job market.
The jobs that aren't posted publicly.
Exactly. Estimates vary, but around 70–80% of jobs are never publicly posted. And these often have significantly less competition simply because fewer people even know they exist.
So learning how to access this hidden market is absolutely key. How do you do that?
What really stood out in our sources on this point was the emphasis on actively seeking out those opportunities. It's not passive. Networking, especially on platforms like LinkedIn, isn't just about collecting connections anymore. It's more about strategically curating your professional reputation.
So your online activity becomes almost like a living portfolio.
Precisely, showing your knowledge, your passion. And when it comes to referrals, they're incredibly powerful. They're not just a submission. Our sources called it a transfer of trust.
A transfer of trust. I like that framing.
Yeah. When an employee refers you, their professional reputation is implicitly on the line, right? So it gives your candidacy significant weight and really elevates you above the anonymous online applicant pool.
Okay, so how do you implement this effectively? How do you get those referrals or find those hidden jobs? The advice seems to be identify key contacts on platforms like LinkedIn. And interestingly, focus on connecting with peers, maybe people one or two levels above you, rather than just shooting for the senior leaders right away.
Build relationships first, not just ask for a job immediately.
Exactly. The crucial step is to build a relationship first. Maybe request an informational interview, offer value by sharing a relevant article or insight before making any specific ask. This approach demonstrates practical communication skills, shows how you deal with people, which can really set you apart.
Okay, good advice. Now, your resume still matters, of course, even with all this networking, but presentation is absolutely key. Our sources advise being concise, using bullet points effectively, and leaving plenty of white space. Recruiters scan quickly.
Make it easy for them to find the relevant info.
Right. And also, remember those applicant tracking systems, the ATS? They use natural language processing to screen resumes.
The AI gatekeepers.
Basically, yes. So you must tailor your resume to match the keywords and skills mentioned in the job description. But a word of caution here. Use those AI resume writing tools wisely.
Oh, what's the issue there?
Well, nearly a third of users report frustration with inaccurate suggestions or generic phrasing that doesn't really capture their unique experience. So use them as a tool, but don't rely on them blindly.
Good point. Human oversight is still needed. And for interviews, AI can actually be your secret weapon in a different way. You can use AI-powered mock interview platforms. These tools can give you real-time feedback on your answers, your body language, even your communication skills, like confidence and tone.
Practice makes perfect, even with AI help.
Right. And for tech roles specifically, the landscape is evolving. It's not just about memorizing solutions to algorithmic puzzles anymore, like those found on LeetCode. It's increasingly about truly understanding data structures and algorithms, being able to clearly explain your solutions and your thought process.
And for senior roles.
Demonstrating architectural thinking, how you design systems, not just solve small problems.
Okay, that's helpful for tech folks. Now, for any interview, remember to prepare maybe 3 to 5 thoughtful questions for your interviewer. And I mean truly thoughtful questions, not just the generic ones you find online with quick search. Show you've done your homework.
Show genuine interest.
Exactly. And here's a powerful tip we saw mentioned in several sources. Consider asking the hesitation question.
The hesitation question, what's that?
It's asking something like, based on what you know about me so far, what do you think my biggest challenge might be if I were to step into this position?
Oh, that's bold. But I can see how it could be insightful.
It can provide invaluable real-time feedback. And sometimes it even reveals insights about the team dynamics or the role's actual challenges that weren't in the job description.
That's a great tip. Finally, don't overlook internships, regardless of your career stage.
Yeah.
Even experienced professionals might find short-term projects useful. They're a fantastic way to get a foot in the door, build those crucial relationships we talked about, and tap into that hidden job market.
Makes sense. It's about getting inside access.
Right. Even something as simple as cold calling or emailing former internship contacts to ask about unposted positions or upcoming needs can lead directly to unexpected opportunities. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Good practical advice there.
Okay, so shifting our focus now, let's look at the broader work environment itself, because where and how we work is also changing dramatically. The hybrid model, it seems, has definitively solidified as the new normal for 2025.
Really? So it's not going back to fully in office?
The data suggests not for a majority. Our sources tell us roughly 55% of organizations are operating on a hybrid model now.
55%. What about the rest?
Around 26% are fully remote, and only about 19% are fully on-site.
Only 19% fully on-site?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This fundamental shift in how and where we work has profound implications for everyone, employees, managers, companies.
It's abundantly clear from the data that flexibility is incredibly valued by employees.
Mm.
Massively valued. Our sources show that a significant 46% of remote workers said they would likely quit if their remote work options were removed.
Nearly half. That's a huge retention risk for companies mandating full return.
It is, and even more telling maybe, is that 38% say they actively stay with their current employers because of the flexibility offered. It's a key benefit.
And looking ahead, job seekers are voting with their feet too, right?
Absolutely. 60% of job seekers say they prefer hybrid roles, and another 37% are actively seeking fully remote positions.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost everyone wanting some form of flexibility.
It's an overwhelming employee preference. Now, what's particularly interesting about this shift is its potential impact on things like diversity and productivity. Remote work has actually been shown to attract a more experienced and, importantly, a more diverse applicant pool.
How so?
It includes more women, more underrepresented groups, people with disabilities, people living outside major urban centers, all without necessarily increasing wage costs for employers because you're drawing from a wider talent pool.
That's a significant benefit. And productivity, there was a lot of debate about that.
There was, and there still is some. But studies have shown it can demonstrably increase individual productivity in certain roles, like call centers, for instance, partly by reducing commute stress and eliminating many common office distractions.
Okay, so there are clear benefits. However, there's still this disconnect we hear about, right, between employers and employees. Both sides seem to acknowledge that some return-to-office mandates partly stem from a lack of trust in remote productivity. Is that fair?
I think it is, yes. And employers also strongly believe, often rightly, that office attendance benefits company culture, collaboration, spontaneous innovation, those water cooler moments.
The intangible stuff.
Exactly. So the key seems to be clear: consistent communication around the policies, whatever they are, and consciously focusing on collaborative activities, making that in-office time really count when teams are together.
Makes sense. Be intentional about office time.
Right. And given this new normal, this hybrid reality, how is AI actually supporting these evolving work models? That's another interesting angle. By 2025, AI is actively enhancing remote and hybrid work through various innovative tools.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, think about AI-driven meeting assistants.
Yes.
Tools that can automatically transcribe calls, summarize key decisions, and action items.
So people who miss the meeting can catch up easily.
Precisely. It allows team members to catch up asynchronously. Or think about AI chatbots providing instant IT support to remote employees rather than waiting hours for a human response.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
These innovations are really vital in helping dispersed teams stay aligned and productive, even when they're not in the same physical space or time zone.
And we're also seeing this growing emphasis on employee well-being, aren't we? Mental health support, flexible benefits. It feels like companies are trying to adapt to these employee preferences in other ways, too.
They are, and the smart ones recognize its link to performance. We're seeing data, for example, that high performers disproportionately work for organizations that have flexible mandates, maybe no more than 2 days required in the office.
Interesting. So flexibility attracts and retains top talent.
The data strongly suggests a link, yes. Ultimately, a happy, well-rested, and flexible workforce, even if it's geographically dispersed, is often a more productive workforce, and crucially, less likely to experience high turnover.
Which is costly for companies.
Very costly. The challenge that remains, though, and it's a significant one, is maintaining that sense of unity and fairness between remote employees and on-site employees. That's really key to fostering a cohesive, positive company culture in this evolving landscape.
Right, avoiding that us versus them mentality.
Exactly.
Okay, so, wow, we've covered a tremendous amount today. The 2025 job market is definitely this fascinating mix of, well, undeniable challenges, but also that's the key question. We truly hope this deep dive has given you some actionable insights, maybe a fresh perspective on what it takes to succeed in 2025 and beyond. So go out there, make those connections, hone those essential skills, both technical and human, and remember, the future of work isn't just something that's happening to you, it's yours to actively shape.